Brian Lehrer on WNYC. By the way, for those of you who heard the earlier reference, looks like we're definitely going to have to do a follow-up segment on the pros and cons of voice memos, who loves them, who hates them, after the earlier segment where they came up. So maybe one of these days next week, that'll be something on the show. But during this membership drive, we're doing a series at the end of the show every day that we're calling Spring Cleaning, organizing your stuff and your life in 6 different ways over 6 different days. Day 5 today, about how we stay organized when you've got a household full of kids, or even just one kid. The clutter tends to pile up, I don't have to tell you. They outgrow their clothes and toys. They bring home endless piles of drawings. There are markers and crayons and half-finished craft projects. So it's helpful to create systems that make the inevitable influx of stuff a little more manageable. Laura Kinsella is an organizing expert and the founder of Urban OrgaNYze, that's NY like New York in the middle of organize, and she's with us now to talk through some strategies for keeping your kids' stuff in order. Hey Laura, welcome to WNYC.
Thanks for having me.
And you've emphasized, and I'm glad, that this is not a one-size-fits-all operation, that people should take into account the particular habits and needs of their family as they figure out how to organize their kids' stuff. But can you talk about how these systems can be customized to start out?
Absolutely. So organization, as we may already know, it requires knowing what we own and creating a home for everything. So it's easy to access and easy to put away. With kids, it's knowing the phase that we're in, and we have to meet them where they're at developmentally. So that's really to ensure that we can maintain the system. It makes sense. It's really built in for us when we're tired and not at our best selves. But really, we want to store items where we use them, and we want to strip the steps involved. So, for example, if we have little ones with their toys, we want to ditch lids. We want to have open baskets low to the ground, broad categories, a limited amount of toys. As they grow, it's going to be that rotation, like you said, of things in and out, so that we are making sure that the items we have are really representing our kids, what they're into, what ages and stages of their clothes, their toys, their crafts, etc.
I see that part of your organizing philosophy is that it's important that your kids are actually involved in the process to some extent, so they feel excited and even somewhat responsible for keeping their space in good shape. What are some ways to involve your kids and make them feel a part of it and like, oh, mom or dad are making me do this now?
Yeah, sure. So I think there's a reframe that happens. Instead of looking at decluttering and organizing as this chore and this like active punishment, we want to get them excited about it. We want to treat it like any other life skill, of course, just like brushing your teeth or tying your shoes. So we have to accept in the beginning that things will be done imperfectly, but we have to praise them for their efforts and we have to rinse and repeat. And over time, they'll gain autonomy, they'll gain independence, they'll be excited about participating. You can make it into a little game for younger kids, set a timer, play some music, and allow them to be creative. Sometimes they can make the labels for the things that they own and the things that we can put on stickers or outside of clear bins. It's really whatever it takes for them to get excited about the system so that you're not the only one maintaining the systems at the end of the day.
Is there a way to instill the joy of that in a kid? I mean, I don't think I had it when I was little, but I could say I love organizing right now. Like I'm the kind of nerd who gets off on sorting my laundry after it's done.
Yeah.
But how can you make a kid feel a little spark of joy about that the way I do?
I mean, we have to remember what it's all for. We want them to gain in confidence, independence. They want to please us. I think kids innately want to help and want to feel a sense of responsibility. But you have to know your kid, right? You have to know what kind of, like how you were, what sort of sparks their interest. And for some kids, they're a little bit more creative than others. And some kids, like, we want to involve music or certain sensory things to get them involved. I just feel like if we give them a little bit of rope, we set the boundary as parents and caregivers, and then we give autonomy within that boundary. So if, for example, if they have Legos and they're just spinning out of control, and we say, okay, you can maintain 6 Lego sets at a time, But then they have the autonomy to say which 6 Lego sets they want to play with, right? So we have to allow them, we have to give them that space in order for them to get excited about something.
And you acknowledge that after a certain age, kids can start to form really strong emotional attachments to their stuff. And yet the process you lay out ultimately requires getting rid of things pretty regularly, including things your kid might feel super attached to. How do you help them get on board with that?
Yeah, so I think again, the goal isn't taking things away when we're decluttering, it's reducing overwhelm because too many choices, too much visual clutter. It's hard for kids to focus and play and study, especially as they get older, high school, college, etc. I think that we have to involve them in a way that's we're saying, what is it you're into? What do you aspire to do? What do you aspire so that it's not this feeling of like, oh, mom and dad they're nagging me of what do you want to get rid of? There's too many toys out. It's what are your favorites? What do you want to make room for? And we can incentivize this before a holiday or before a birthday when we know a lot of stuff is going to be coming in. And we can create some space and some magic for that so that they understand that they're responsible for maintaining the home. But there's a little bit in it for them too. The little kids can have a chore chart, older kids can have more time with friends or have more screen time or whatever the reward may be. But that it's already something that they have to do, just like brushing their teeth.
Before you go, I want to acknowledge that your business, Urban OrgaNYze, focuses on helping women in particular create personalized organizing systems. And it's interesting because this is thought of as such a gender domain in the first place, and women are often held responsible for keeping a house in order. But of course, it's usually preferable if that labor doesn't just fall on one parent. So I'm curious why you chose to focus on helping women, what you've learned from going into people's homes about how the work of organization plays out and gender dynamics or anything like that.
Absolutely. So it's interesting because most families, when I walk into their homes, it's not a storage problem. People will think, women will say, gosh, I don't have enough room. We need a bigger apartment. We need a bigger home. But it's really a decision fatigue problem. And most of these things fall on women. And I work with a lot of successful, high capacity women who are running these incredible roles, CEO, COO, and they're managing all of this at work. And then when they come home, the last thing they want to do is create another decision for them. But yet there's the constant inflow, the papers, the Amazon boxes, the birthday gifts. And so in order for the system to be created equally and for the shift to not just fall on one participant and especially women, we really need to understand how everyone flows in this space. And that really, again, requires no perfection. We want that's because that's the fastest way.
Kinsella is an organizing expert and founder of Urban OrgaNYze, OrgaNYze. That was great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.